Hey guys, I am Judith and welcome back to my channel. And in this video, we're going to be switching this no makeup look I created on my model to a night glam or a girls night out, date night glam, whatever. So if you want to learn how I created this look right here, how I switched to this look, then you want to keep watching. To begin, I started with the Novan Beauty concealer. I applied that with my brush. This concealer is a full coverage concealer, and for the first look I created, I didn't use a lot of powder under the eye, so I'm not too worried about layering concealer on top of it. So I applied that with a brush and went ahead with my beauty sponge to blend that out. This concealer is a full coverage concealer, which I like so much because this is just going to brighten under her eyes and going to complement the hollow eyes makeup we're going to create later on. So I just make sure I blend that out completely and without any demarcation. I always emphasize on not leaving demarcation, so I apply that on the high point of her face because I want her face really highlighted. This is a full glam, like a full glam, so I want her face really highlighted and popping. So I place that on the high point of her face and make sure I blend that out properly with the beauty blender. Then I went ahead with my RCMA setting powder. This is not a translucent powder, and which is very perfect and can work perfectly well for you for a full glam, for a full coverage makeup, like a full glam. Yeah, so I just apply that with my beauty sponge. I usually apply sometime with my brush, but that's when I'm trying to like achieve like a seamless natural skin like finish makeup. But this is totally fine and it's going to like work perfectly well for me. Sorry, because I'm going for like a full glam. So I just use this to do like a reverse contour. This is just going to help me like pop the face. For the other look we created, we just used bronzer to just bronze up the face and add warmth to the face to give it that sun-kissed glow effect. But here I'm going to be using a contour, which I'm doing. I use a powder, the dark shade of powder from my powder palette. The powder I use here is the La Vida Amanda powder palette. I use the same powder, her shade from the same palette, to just set all over her face. In as much as it's a full glam, I didn't go like so much packing product. Then I went ahead with this orange shade from my eyeshadow palette to add colors to her face. I use this as a blush. I usually use my eyeshadow palette as a blush, whichever color I want from the palette. It works perfectly well for me. And here, mistakenly, I have so much. Like I usually say, you can make mistake because you are human. So I had so much. I just use powder to just like reduce the intensity of the blush like I'm doing in this video, and it worked. So I went ahead to just intensify her brows. For the other look I created, sorry, I just filled in the brows light stroke and it looks like there's nothing there. So I'm just going to intensify the brows and make the brows more obvious. And here I'm using my Davis pencil in number 3. That's 03. Yes, I really love this pencil because it just works for me and it gives me the perfect shade I want. I don't really like my pencil looking reddish, but it works for me when I'm working on a light skin. Like I prefer like, yes, like the reddish pencil. So I went ahead to just conceal and define the brows because you know we're going for a full glam. Night glam, date glam, it's usually popping. Yeah, so I'm just going to intensify the brows, like define the brows and make it more defined. And I'm using my Nuban Beauty concealer, the same concealer I used to highlight her face. So just doing that, basically just, you know, trying to make the brows more defined, yes, and just, you know, blend that out and or blend it in rather. Just make sure everything you're doing is well blended so you don't leave demarcations, and that can really destroy your makeup. I went ahead with a dark shade at the beginning point of her brows because in as much as we're going for a full glam, yeah, you still want it to look natural. You don't want her to look like off the place, you know. So I just went in with a dark shade just, you know, to make it even, to look like the brows is coming out from her face. Yes, that was what I was trying to achieve. So I did define the top of her brows. So for the eyeshadow, I went ahead with my lipstick. I like using a matte lipstick for my eyeshadow base, and I like using like a dark base when I'm trying to create like a dark eyes, because you're still going to darken the eyes anyway. So to make the work easier for you, just go ahead to start with a dark brow. This, I'm creating a hollow eyes, like a dark hollow eyes with gold. So you're still going to darken it, so it's better you just, you know, start off dark. It's easier for you and it's easier for you to blend. So basically what I'm doing here, I'm trying to, you know, create the hollow eyes. I started off with an orange eyeshadow as the transition, you know, just to keep everything in place and like a base for every other thing to stay on. So I did that in the crease, and I went ahead to just darken the inner corner of the eyes and the outer corner of the eyes with a small brush, and try to blend that out and make sure it's well blended, and don't like leave demarcations there. Just make it, you know nice. That's the word. Not sure, but anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. So I just did that and went ahead with a brown shade and a different brush to blend that out and just make it together, put it into one layer. So that's just basically what I did. Then I went ahead to set her brow bone with a powder. This is also going to give me like a good blend and seal it in and erase any demarcation I might have between the eyeshadow and the brow bone and the crease. So I went ahead with a good from this eyeshadow palette. This is the Elsa's Pro eyeshadow palette. I don't know if they still make this eyeshadow. I've had this for a very long time. This is like their very first design, so, and it's still one of my favorite eyeshadow because the pigment is really nice. This eyeshadow is highly pigmented. I have a detailed tutorial how to create a halo eyes. I'm going to leave the link in the description box so you can just go check it out, and that will really be helpful to you. And I went ahead with a glitter stroke pigment glue on the eyes. I used the elf glitter stroke pigment glue because I want to use a pigment on it to pop the eyes the more. So I went ahead with my Inglot pigment and just applied that with a brush. So after doing that, to just even the eyes, I smudge under her eyes with the black eyeshadow and I make sure it's well blended. I kept emphasizing on blending. If you just place it there, it's just going to be there and it's not going to look nice. It's going to look really tacky. So I just make sure you blend it and, connect it to the outer corner of the eyes and make sure it's well blended. Then I went ahead to line inside her eyes with the gel liner. I used the Beyond Beauty gel liner to line inside her eyes and it worked for me. To blend under the eyes and take out any fallout from the pigment, I went ahead with this small brush. I took a little powder of her powder shade to blend that out, like very tiny. You don't want to go pack powder under the eyes. And I went ahead to spray her face with the Noban Beauty Seal It spray. I'm so sorry guys, somehow I don't know if I lost the clip or it just wasn't recording. I don't know. So I just went ahead with her lip. But see how the spray like brought the whole thing together, the powdery effect, it took it out. It just brought everything together. So I went ahead to do her lip, the brown, my regular brown lip liner and nude or pink inside. I usually always don't know what to do on the lip, but in this video creating this look, I have this exact lip in mind, this lip combo in mind. So I did what I have in mind, not like I ran out of idea as usual, but this is what I really have in mind. So I just went ahead to gloss the lip with a classic lip gloss and it's just giving what it should give. This is just what I want it to look like and I'm glad it just turned out how I want it to look like. So I went ahead to intensify the gel liner on her waterline because I want it really dark. So this just, makes it really dark when you go in with another layer, like you go on it with another layer. So to highlight her face, I used a Tehila Cosmetic Blush Stroke Highlighter palette to highlight her face. I just use little quantity because I feel like there's a lot going on her face already and I don't want so much of that on her face. So I just used little quantity. Went ahead with the Wing Beauty Instant Volume Length Mascara to add volume to her lower lashes and making it the final part of this. So guys, this is it. This is the finished look of this makeup, switching from no makeup look to this. You don't necessarily need to clean your makeup, or you don't always need to clean your makeup to start afresh if you want to change your look. This is just all you need to do that. At this, we have come to the end of this video. I hope you like this video. Please give this video a very big thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to my channel if you're yet to. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for joining me today. Share this video to anyone who you think might find this video helpful, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.